Hi, everybody. This is Bruce, and today is June 16th. And if you don't see Ellen live, guess what? We're having some technical difficulties here, and we've tried it a couple times, and we can't seem to get back on. So you get to see her beautiful picture for the rest of the time. She could make it worse to put my picture up, but I don't think that would fly terribly well. So I know we're going to be stressed out a little bit get started, but we're going to get started here today. And the last week we talked about people with self-worth. We're talking about self-worth and some people who had some self-worth. And I think today Ellen's going to talk a little bit about maybe how to recover from something that takes down your self-worth, or even how to improve some of your self-worth. So Ellen, welcome. You look great in your picture.
Thank you. I needed to smile to release the stress of this technical issues. But like many of you, I'm not so techy. I do my best. But anyway, I'm glad that you are here, and thank you for sticking with us today. So today what we want to talk about is what can we do to increase or to raise our self-worth. Last week we gave you examples of a person, a salesperson, to let you know that he was only making $15,000 because of his self-worth. Yet if he increases his self-worth, that means that his income will increase as well. And that is true for many of people out there. So definitely today, one of the keys for us to increase our self-worth is knowing who you are. And this is a very deep question. Every time I ask any of my clients this question, even when I was when I started my journey and my coach asked me that question, I was startled. I didn't know exactly what to say. But what I do want to say to you is that it's a deep question, and it's something that I will invite you to start asking yourself, who am I? Ask yourself, who am I? If when I say, who are you, you don't know what to say, or you come up with a lot of things, most of the time people come up with roles that you play, a mother, a daughter, a son, whatever, a worker, whatever you do. Okay, so that's not who you are. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to let you know that the key component of increasing your self-worth is knowing who you are. And how do you know that you know who you are? Is that you will have standards. You will have boundaries. You will make sure that you take care of yourself first. And you have an understanding that by taking care of yourself first, it's not selfish. It's just something that you must do in order to provide the best you that you can do.
Ellen, to me it sounds like maybe taking care of myself first. Isn't that? I mean, a lot of us think, well, that's egotistical. We should, be helping other people. Can you separate that a little bit for me?
Well, that's a good one. And what I rather do is illustrate a story for you. And this is someone that I know a few years ago. They were taking care of their father. It's 10 siblings, and their aging father needed care. And they decided early on that they will take care of the father instead of putting the father into a nursing home. Yet my client, we're gonna name her Mary. Okay, that's the name that comes to me easily. So we're gonna name her Mary. So Mary decided that she will take care most of the responsibility due to the fact that she's an entrepreneur and she could juggle and put together a schedule that will work for everyone. And so she did. Yet as time went by, there was more need for care. As anyone who has an elderly parent or someone that they take care of, that's what usually happens. As they age or as the sickness gets worse, there's more care that is needed. And when Mary asked her siblings to step in and take more responsibility for the care of the aging father, the siblings just, instead of coming up with answers of what or solutions to make solutions for the situation at hand, they kind of say, we can't do it. So they just focus on what they cannot do it. They didn't focus on what can we do. So now is the time for Mary to exercise her self-worth. If Mary has low self-worth, she will just allow her siblings to just run over, or she will just take on all the responsibility. And she, at the end of the day, she will be very unhappy, very tired, and a lot of things that come with taking care of by yourself an aging father. So the fact that she had boundaries and knew who she is and knew what she's willing to do and what she's not willing to do, and that she has standards, that put her in a place where siblings and her were in disagreement for few some time until they were able to agree in something that was work for everyone, and everyone involved was it was benefiting from it, especially the aging father, because at the end of the day, their main concern was to make sure that the fathers stay home as long as they can handle it, and then come up with another plan. But so far, they wanted to keep the father in the house, yet the other siblings didn't want to take responsibility for it. So this is something that she was not willing to take on. But in order for her to do this, she had to have boundaries. As I said, she has to know what she's willing to do and what she's not willing to do, and at the same time standards, her standards. And everyone that has high self-worth, they know, they value their time, they value their time for themselves, they value who they are, and they have standards of what is it that they're going to do, and what is it that they're not going to allow others to do for them.
Oh, that's quite a story, Ellen. I think what I'm getting out of it, if Mary had low self-worth, she would continue to do what she was doing. Her life would be a lot of a mess. She would not have brought it up to her siblings. And in the end, she'd be taking care of her father, but she would just have one miserable life, I guess you'd say, of drudge and drudgery, I guess is what you would say, right?
Definitely. And if any of you find yourself and can relate to this story or know anyone in that situation, just really think about it. It also happens in business as well. So you definitely having high self-worth, it plays out in everything in your life. It plays out in the quality of your own personal life and how you interact with other people, whether it's your family, your friends, co-workers, business partners. So it's very important.
Is there anybody in business that you could think of that maybe went broke or something like that and bounced back at another time that you could share with us? Somebody we maybe could relate to?
The first person that comes to mind when I hear you ask me that question is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is an amazing story, I believe, because he went completely broke, yet he was able to bounce back to his current status. Okay, so the reason why he was able to go back to that status is because of his belief system of what he believed his worth. He's not gonna take less than that. Okay, he filed bankruptcy, and he can file bankruptcy again, and that's just Donald Trump. But any millionaire will let you know that, they could lose their money, but as long as they don't lose who they are, and they know who they are, and they know what they're capable of doing, because they have this high standard for themselves, they're going to be able to make that money back. They're going to be able to bounce back of bad relationship. They'll be able to bounce back of economical challenges because of that self-worth, knowing who you are, knowing your boundaries, knowing your standards.
Ellen, I'm going to share with people maybe what we can call a self-worth scale. But if our listeners could visualize they had a sheet of paper in front of them, and about a third of the way down the paper on the left-hand side, they'd write a 0. And then they'd do about a 4-inch horizontal line over to the right and write the digits 100. I'm going to call that a self-worth scale. 100 being extremely high self-worth and 0 being extremely low self-worth. I'm going to ask our listeners that just quickly in their own mind, where would they put themselves on that 0 to 100 scale? Where would you put yourself in your own belief of your own self-worth? And as we progress on to the next 2 weeks, Ellen's going to answer more of that and help you if you find yourself lower on the scale than you think you are, should be. She's going to be able to work with you more so on a one-to-one basis because it's the discovery process is a lengthy process sometimes because we all don't really see outside of our own self. But we're going to look into that. Without going into it, Ellen, can you briefly just give some people a little tidbit on that?
Definitely. One of the things that I do want you to do is to take some time that you can be alone and ask yourself, who am I? And write all the answers on a piece of paper. And then after you do that, check which one is a role and which is an identity. And then make two rows, make A and B. So A will be roles and B will be identities. So what you identify yourself with. And once you do that, you will kind of know exactly, the things, who you think you are. And just like Bruce mentioned, the process of knowing who you are is a deep process. It's about going within. As we talked about last week, self-worth is from the inside out. It's not the outside in. So because it's from the inside out, you must start with knowing who you are. And so if you find yourself having challenge to find who you are, maybe you want to connect with me, and then I'll be more than happy to help you.
Well, Ellen, I think that brings us to the end today with our technical difficulties and everything. But I reiterate again, if you're out there and you want to just investigate your self-worth and go a little deeper in and just get comfortable where you're at, by all means, make contact with Ellen. Set something up. Let her work with you. She's extremely good at helping people discover these things and that's already sitting inside them, waiting to blossom. So, Ellen, I guess we're at our time. Say goodbye, Ellen.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you. Share the video with everyone, as always, and I thank you so much and look forward to seeing you next time and reading your comments and reading your emails. Thank you.